Right, on a wee test ride today. It's the Harley Davidson Street Bob, the 114 engine. I'll give you another walk around once we get further on. Walk up the petrol garage. Just saw somebody screaming abuse at somebody just because they walked in front of them here. It really was ridiculous. I don't know what's wrong with people at times. I don't know why they have to be so aggressive over nothing. It beats me. Right, my first impressions of this, because I've ridden it. I've ridden it to here, which is probably about 3-4 miles. And initially it was like, oh, this feels weird. But it was just because I'd just come off my big Ultra. And but once I settled in, it actually felt quite nice. It's got a huge amount of power. Right, we've got a bit of a different ride today. It is a Harley Davidson, and it is a Street Bob, and it has the 114 engine in it, which I think is 1868cc or something like that, or 1862. It's somewhere in that region. It's quite unbelievable to actually think that this has got a bigger engine than what was in my 6-cylinder Goldwing, and it's a 2-cylinder. So it certainly does not lack any grunt whatsoever. That's why you've got to have your wits about you all the time riding a bike. You can appreciate that on roads like this people can't get out very well. They tend to take a bit more risk. You've just got to be ready to be the one that slows down. I've got to say that the ergonomics of this bike initially were odd because I just come off my big Ultra. But I'm settling in now and I'm getting used to it, and I actually quite like it. I've had a soft tail before, so I know what they feel like. I just can't believe that this bike has got that size of an engine in it. So I'm going to try and talk as quiet as I can, in case it's maybe clipping. So this bike is super light compared to my Ultra. I mean, it's under 300 kilograms. The Ultra's 400 plus. Obviously this is bare bones, it's got nothing on it. But jolly oh does it go. It's also got a gear indicator on it, which is quite nice. Not that you really need it on a Harley, but still is useful. Notice that the speedo on this is quite small. It's really neat. I mean, if you want that naked bobber look, you know, it really is a clever idea. When you first see it, because you're used to big speedos and that, you think, God, that seems a bit daft, right? It's almost like a toy. But when you think about the stripped back nature of these bikes, it actually makes a lot of sense. And yeah, I mean, that's me in 4th gear at 40 mile an hour. It's not chugging, it's not wanting to tear his head off. You can drop it down a gear anyway, but it's not bad. It's got a rev counter. You can change the features here. You can see the range is saying 146. That's one of the bugbears of this bike. Is it's not got a huge tank. It's just over 3 gallon, I think. But considering that most stops you make are about 100 miles, it's okay. But you just might have a bit more range anxiety if you were doing longer trips. I'm trying to make my mind up what I'm trying to do. The Ultra, I'm finding, is just a wee bit too heavy for me. There's a lot of reasons why that's a problem, and I'm not going to go into that. But I am thinking about getting something a bit lighter. But the trouble is, the Ultra's got everything I've ever wanted. You can go touring with it, take a passenger, it's got all the amenities that you need. It's been well kitted out, somebody spent a good bit of money on it, putting all the nice bits on it. Very hard to get rid of it, and I'm really torn to get rid of it, but I'm feeling that for the sake of my chest, my shoulder, I might have to. So I've been looking at alternatives. The Pan America was obviously one that I had a look at. And the only reason I didn't mind the Pan, I mean, the only reason it would have been ideal, but it's not. Somehow it just doesn't feel like a Harley, and then the residuals on it are really bad. I mean, they're not selling well second hand, and they're good bikes too. Unfortunately, their reputation's been knocked a little bit with the sort of early models, and that's kind of stuck with people a bit, I think. So that was one possibility. Then I thought, what if I just keep my other bike for touring, and I just get a Harley for pottering around on and doing the chapter runs, and can still do a bit of weekend camping with something like this, but not to use it as a serious tourer. Brakes are good on it anyway. The gear indicator is a strange thing because it disappears the minute you pull the clutch in, which is a bit odd. Get a chance to see how she overtakes. Loads of power. At this point, this is when you feel you need a screen. That's something I would definitely have to fit to it. If I was to buy something like this, I'd need to put a screen on it just to keep that ballast off my chest, otherwise that's going to be a problem too. I'm looking at this Street Bob because I really do like the look of this one, I have to say, but I'm also been looking at the Softail Standard, which is a bit cheaper than this. It's the same sort of setup. It's kind of like a blank canvas. You can make it into whatever you want to make it. If I get a chance, I'll roll up somewhere and let you see the bike. I don't think I've got any pressure to take it back, so it's a wee test as well, I suppose. Last time I came here, it was with a Royal Enfield. Long time ago. Seems like a long time ago. It must have been 4 years ago at least. So there you go. It's all blacked out. I quite like it being all blacked out. Beautiful, beautiful tank, isn't it? It's a beautiful design. I really do love the look of this bike. I'm not normally a blacked out type of person. I quite like my chrome, but I really do like this. I really do like the, I mean, a lot of that's just shielding. There is actually a normal exhaust under that. It's all just covers, but it's all chrome covers. It's on the original anyway. Even the chrome exhaust is just all chrome covers. I can't remember, brake horsepower is somewhere along the lines of, it's in the 80s, I think. 155 newton meters of torque. So it is a torquey bike. Now I've put on noise reduction on this camera, just turned that on halfway through there. So let's see what that does for us. Get rid of that, get out before that bloody caravan. Not a great soundtrack. Well, you're definitely not lacking power. There's no doubt about that. The brakes are great. The brakes work really well. See, this is the trouble with the compromise. So if you go for a bike like this, it's less than 300 kilograms, and it is beautifully light. It feels light. I mean, a 300 kilogram bike is not light. This does not have the front end heaviness that my Ultra's got. Obviously, it doesn't have all that front end. You know, it's obvious why it's feels a lot lighter, and it does feel a lot lighter. I've got no strain on me at all. The only thing, like I say, is the wind hitting my chest, but that can be resolved, you know, quite easily with a screen. The more you add to a bike, the heavier it's going to get. So, you know, this is why I'm getting to that point where I'm thinking, right, do I just decide to forget about touring on a big touring bike? Because I can't. I'm not comfortable with these bigger bikes now. So go wings and big tourers, I think that day is gone. I think I've got to move away from that. So I'm thinking, well, I've got my VFR, I could get that all kitted out, I've got all the bits for it to turn it into a tourer. I could be using that for touring, and I could just get myself a lighter weight Harley that I could do chapter runs and, you know, weekends maybe, you know, go away for weekends, still be able to kit it out enough to do a bit of camping. Let's get this going, look at it. Oh, I mean, the power is just absolutely fantastic. It really is. It shifts beautifully. The stage one this would almost seem like madness, because it's just got so much pulling power as it is. I mean, it's really fantastic. This is the first time I've ridden a Milwaukee engine bike, and I'm impressed. I am really impressed. I do really like this bike. Whether I would go for this or the standard, I don't know. Standard has a 107 engine. You automatically feel like you should go for that was second gear I pulled away in there. You automatically feel that you should go for the bigger engine. But I don't think there's much difference between them. Horsepower wise, I think there's maybe 8 horsepower of difference. I'm not going to say it handles like a sports bike, because it doesn't, but for what it is, it handles really quite well. The torque is absolutely superb. Absolutely superb. I don't think I've ever felt as much torque as this. If I have, I've forgotten what it was like, but it is absolutely superb. And, you know, as you get on in your biking years, some people will always be super bike people and will always like horsepower and acceleration. For me, it's always been about the torque. Always. But that is superb. What a beautiful bike to ride. Just turn around here, I think, if we can. I'm not going to go for a coffee. I better get it back. That is one of my little stops that sometimes I'll go in and have a coffee, but I feel like I've already over-exercised the demo time, so I feel I better get back. But that is me in top gear, and that pulls amazing. That is really perfect. Now I don't know how the 107 will feel compared to this. I'm told there's not much of a difference. Oh, horrible muck on the road there. That's some. So you can see the amount of torque you've got here is amazing. I know that I'm being slightly naughty, but it's just dead easy to be slightly naughty. And that's top gear, okay. I'll have to blank that bit out. But that was easy. That was really easy. So that's kind of probably the test ride over. So what can I say? What a tremendous bike. What a fantastic amount of power it's got. I'm trying to work out the fuel range, realistic fuel range, and I'll have a good idea when I get back what that is. The torque is, I can't describe the torque, it's just absolutely out of this world. I can't remember ever experiencing quite so much torque on a bike. And I have had a Rocket 2.3, and I'm sure that must have been, you know, it was a triple cylinder. I just don't remember it being as punchy as this. This really is like a size 20 boot, kicking you right in the crotch. So here's the petrol station, so 44.5. We can work it all out at the end. I honestly have never experienced power, well not power, but torque like that. It really is phenomenal and really enjoyable, I have to say. Suspension seems okay. I mean, I haven't gone over anything and went, oh, I mean, that can be quite severe on my Ultra sometimes. So I actually think the suspension feels pretty good. Hopefully I'm right with this. Hermiston Gate, this is it. This is the one. Not too bad. I said about 75 minutes, and that's probably about it. The video camera battery life has been superb, I've got to say. I did play around stopping and starting it, but it's still going strong. I don't know what the microphone's going to be like. This is the bit I don't know. So summary of the bike, it's 49, so that was what, 44 did I say? 5 miles? Let's go for 5 miles to the shop. So total range of the tank is about 156 miles, which isn't that bad. You know, considering that you mostly stop at 100 miles. That's pretty good. That's not bad at all really. It's, the fuel range isn't really too much of an issue. It's really hard to give this up because it does so much for me, you know. So it's really hard to give this up. because it is a tremendous bike, and it's had, you know, a lot of nice things added onto it. There's nothing that you need to add to this bike to make it work. That bike had an incredible amount of torque. I've never quite felt torque like that. It's absolutely phenomenal. Fantastic. That's got some amount of torque. That's just a dream. You can see how easy it is on this bike just to cram in the miles. I mean, this bike has been brilliant. It's done 2 amazing trips. You know, the trip down to the ABR, okay, I had the problem with the clutch slipping on the way back, but I rode round that. That wasn't a problem. I still covered the distance and had a lot of fun doing it. And then obviously up to Thunder in the Glen and doing the Thunder in the Glen ride out. That was, you know, that was great. So it does eat the miles, and it's really enjoyable, you know, it really is.